Yo, yo, what's up, folks? This Impact, and I want to take this time to welcome you all back to the Hurt Business 101. What's going on, man? Listen up. I want to break down this fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford that's going down tomorrow on Netflix. Free with your subscription, no pay-per-view. I know everybody happy for that. We're getting tired of them pay-per-views. I want to provide more nuance instead of just giving you the basic cliches. Let's go. Listen, this fight, everybody's talking about it. Content creators, fighters, trainers, fans, everybody's talking about it, man. We went from this seeming like it was never going to happen to it getting announced and Turkey putting it together. Fans start talking about snack with Crawford because they just view him as a threat to Canelo. Now we're back to Canelo Alvarez just being too much. Terrence Crawford doesn't have a chance. But I'm here to tell you, I believe Terrence Crawford has a chance, and I actually believe he's going to pull it off and become the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. Let me get into this breakdown. So, when people say Canelo Alvarez is going to win, just like I said, it's giving you the big man, the cliches. A good big man beats a small, good small man any day. Canelo Alvarez got too much power. Once he hits Terrence Crawford, he's going to sleep. Brain's going to be all over the canvas, the whole 9 yards. If someone thinks Bud is going to win, it's just, it's a lot of weight jump, and but if anybody can do it, Terrence Crawford can do it. There's no real strategic reasons. They're not giving you any breakdowns, no strengths and weaknesses, but I'm here to do that with this video. So I'm doing this video different. See, I gave you guys my prediction in the beginning, but now I'm going to tell you why I believe he can do it and why and what things Canelo does and that makes me believe that Terrence Crawford can beat him tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to give you that information because everybody so far is just telling you why they don't believe he can, why they believe it's a tall task for him, and they're giving you all of the why they don't think he can't. I'm going to give you why I believe he can, and I'm going to break it down based on some tendencies of Canelo versus some of the things that Bud is good at that makes him, a candidate to defeat Canelo Alvarez tomorrow. So one thing I'm going to let you know is Canelo Alvarez has really fallen into a trap in his later years. This happens, and this is just not a Canelo thing. This happens to fighters as they get older, and particularly as they go up in weight. I speak for all old curmudgeons when I say we just don't feel like doing as much. You know what I'm saying? You try to do things more efficiently. You try to be effective, but do things more efficiently. If I can throw a hard shot and knock a guy out, that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm not trying to do all this extra work. You know what I'm saying? So it's just part of the maturing and aging process, and it's part of conserving energy. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, Canelo Alvarez has stamina issues. It's not about him not training hard or whatever. Some people just have better gas tanks than others. You know what I mean? I was a person that had a great gas tank, never got tired. I could go play basketball. I could train. I could box. I could do this. I could do that. I had a gas tank. Heart rate was good. Lungs were good. My son is the same way. He can run all day long, never get tired. Some people have that type of gas tank. You know what I mean? And then some people work super. It's like how some things come natural to one person and then somebody else got to work super hard. And they can be just as good or achieve that, but they have to work that much harder. There could be two honor roll A students. One of them don't even barely carry books and have to really study for tests, and they just ace everything. The other one studies hard, takes detailed notes. They still get an A, but they have to go the extra mile to get it. And that's just how athletes are. Some people work hard, to get their conditioning up, and they still just can't quite get it over that hump. That's Canelo Alvarez. Now, Terrence Crawford has quick reaction time and quick reflexes. Now, they talk about Canelo being slow. Canelo is not slow. He actually has fast hands. But it's a difference between being able to throw a fast punch and having quick reaction times and quick reflexes. Canelo can choose when he wants to throw a shot, and he can throw that shot fast. But he's slow getting his hands back home after he threw the punch. That is how Dimitri Bivol was able to take advantage of him. When Canelo Alvarez would throw those hard looping shots, punch him in his arms like he did to, Callum Smith and Chavez and guys like that, he'd throw that hard shot and hit his arms, and they would just stand there covering up because they're afraid to open up to get hit with something hard. Well, Bivol knew once Canelo made contact with the arm, he had an opportunity to return fire, which is called a catch and shoot. When you return fire from the same side that was just contacted, you throw a punch from that side back at your opponent before they get their hands back home to defend themselves. So that's a catch and shoot. So that's where Canelo is vulnerable. It's not when he's throwing the punch. It's not a wise thing to actually try to punch with Canelo as much. That's one thing Bud Crawford does. He punches with guys. But with Canelo, I think he needs to focus more on, and I think he will focus more on throwing his shots at Canelo, starting off his offense after Canelo has made some kind of contact with him or he made Canelo miss a shot. Not just thrown with them in exchanges. You know what I'm saying? But I have noticed that Canelo Alvarez like I said, he's been throwing one punch. The one punch not going to serve you well against Bud because Bud going to string them together and you're going to be getting out hustled and out pointed, and it's going to force you to have to chase. Now, Bud isn't going to run from you, but Bud will take half steps back and counter you. So whereas Canelo like to use that jab to paw his way in and close the distance on guys. And then once he closes the distance, he wings his hard shots at him. Once he'll paw with the jab as he's moving forward. And so he's getting himself in range. Also, he's using that jab hand to blind you so he can throw a shot over top with the right hand. So with Canelo, he has a tendency. This is what I noticed from watching him. If he's jabbing across to your left side as he's moving in, 9 times out of 10, there's a hard looping right hand coming. If he jabs up at the top near your forehead as he's coming in, he's going to throw a right uppercut at you. If he jabs on your right side, which is his left side, as he's walking in, he's trying to blind you to hit you with a hook up top. Or he's trying to disguise it and then after he throws 1 or 2 up top, he'll jab up top and then have you thinking he's about to go to the body by crouching and then come back up top and catch you. Or he'll come in with no jab sometime. And if he comes in with no jab, it's always going to be a left hook. Sometimes he comes in and he just moves his feet forward, inches forward, but doesn't throw the jab. Close the distance on you. He'll throw a hook to the body or he'll throw a hook to the top with the left hand. It's never a right hand when he comes in without anything. So if I'm noticing these patterns, I know that Terrence Crawford is noticing these patterns. He's that kind of thinker. I was that kind of thinker. Processing in real time, quick reactions. You know what I'm saying? Also, Canelo Alvarez is, regardless what people think, it's not a negative, it's a style. He's a Mexican fighter. He's a flat-footed Mexican fighter. That's generally what Mexican fighters are coming from that region, okay? That's just how they train. That's just how they fight. It is what it is. They're susceptible to good jabs because when you plotting forward and you stalking forward and you need to set, just as you get ready to set, a stiff jab will force you out of that set and force you to have to reset and then start all over again. If a good jabber has a good strong jab, a well-timed jab, and an educated jab, They can catch you with that jab just as you try to set, jab you, turn out the side, and if you try to wing a hard shot, they can catch you from an angle as you're trying to turn with them. This is something that Terence Crawford does well. A la, look at the Madrimov fight. People looked at the Madrimov fight and thought because he fought Madrimov and had that type of a fight against Madrimov, it's because of the size. It was stylistic. But if you look at what he did to Madrimov, Madrimov only had 10 fights. Madrimov wasn't willing to engage Crawford the way he generally engages his opponents. So them 10 fights, it didn't hurt him as a lack of experience, because we all know those Eastern Europeans, tons of amateur experience. He had over 350 fights. He has a lot of experience. You had to treat him like a Lomachenko, guys that can be fast-tracked. But when he did decide to attack, Bud was able to turn and hit him and throw hard uppercuts off those turns that made him even more reluctant, and he would not attack Bud. So he had trouble getting off. But if you watch the way he turned, he spun him out the side and hit him with those uppercuts. That's one of the other things Canelo is susceptible to, getting hit with. Also, I've noticed he's been doing more combination punching and training, as if he's going to try to start throwing in combination. Well, guess what? The muscle memory is another thing. The combination punching, and you really got to understand this. You need balance with combination punching. It has to come out naturally and flow. And when I mean combination punching, if you're going to put 4 punches together, a combination is boom, 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 boom. Not 4 single shots back to back, boom, 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 boom. No, boom, 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 boom. That's a combination. A lot of guys will throw 4 single shots if they see that they got you in compromised position. But not too many guys these days, especially up in the higher weight classes. That's what makes Benavidez special. He strings together several punches. If you try to start throwing several punches together, we already talked about not being responsible with getting your hands back home after single shots. Well, now what happens? When you throw in combinations, you're worried about getting the multiple punches out, but you're not thinking about protecting yourself or being defensively responsible with moving your head in the middle of it and getting off the line while you're throwing a combination. You can throw combinations and also keep your head off the line while you're throwing a combination. If you haven't been doing that in a long time, the muscle memory won't be there. And when shit gets hot, you're going to revert back to what you were. It's hard to reverse things in one camp, okay? Hard to reverse habits that you've built up over time in one camp. It's easy to implement that in the beginning of fights when you're fresh, because when you're fresh, you're thinking of everything. It's when you start to fatigue a bit, and when shit gets hot, you start to revert back to whatever it is you do naturally without thinking. And that's going to be winging hard shots, trying to discourage Crawford with the hard shots to the arms, hard shots to the hips, single hooks, and things like that. And I just don't think it's going to work. I think Terence Crawford is ultimately going to be able to get a split decision. I think it will be a unanimous decision technically, but I don't believe he's going to get it, because when it comes to Canelo, those judges be on some shit. I don't know what kind of incentives they have, but they will rob the hell out of you for Canelo. I seen him lose convincingly against Floyd Mayweather, and one of the judges gave it a draw. So, you have to whip his ass. I think Terence Crawford going to whip his ass tomorrow. I really do. I mean, I think he's going to exploit every weakness. I think he's going to be more physical than Canelo believes he's going to be, and I believe the strength of Terence Crawford and his ability to get closer to Canelo than people think. Because, like I said, I said to someone before, when you have faster hands and you have quicker reaction times, you are able to operate safely in a close proximity with a puncher that may be bigger than you, because especially when you have the eyes to see it. You know what I mean? It's the eyes to see it and process it. You know that I can get to them before they get to me, so you don't feel like you in as much danger. You actually can be in more danger when you're kind of further out, where they have a chance for you to misjudge and think you're completely out of the distance of one of those overhand bombs, but you're right in range and you missed it and you get caught, you're more dangerous sometimes doing that than you are actually getting in. And I believe Canelo has been so accustomed to everybody trying to get away from him that he's not going to be expecting Crawford to be able to operate in close quarters and also push him around a bit in there. I'm taking Terrence Crawford by unanimous decision, but it'll probably be called a split decision. That's all I got for now, folks. I want to thank y'all for tuning into this edition of the Hurt Business 101. You know what they say. It's no business like show business, but I say it's no business like the hurt business. 101 done.